Hi guys, I am Jennifer and I am with OurPeacefulPlanet.com, where we come up with unique and inexpensive ways for you guys to craft your happiness. We're very, very grateful and fortunate to be back on Hometalk Live. So thank you so much for joining us today. Today, as you probably know, 4 days ago was the first day of spring. So we decided to do some projects to kind of prepare ourselves for the warmer weather. And so I've got two different gardening projects for you today that we're going to be going through. Make sure that if you're joining us that you comment, let us know where you're coming from, where you're tuning in from. We love to know that. And then also, as with every Home Talk Live, we are giving away a free giveaway. And to enter to win, all you need to do is post in the comments something creative that you have DIY'd for your garden. So we'll be checking those sporadically throughout the show, and I will pick a winner at the end of the show. So while we get started, like I said, send those comments in. Our first project is actually going to be a self-watering planter. And these I've seen done by different people in different ways. At Our Peaceful Planet, we always like to try and come up with projects that we can do that use things lying around the house like soda bottles, so that they're functional. They're obviously cost effective, and it keeps them from ending up in landfills, which is kind of nice as well. So that's what we're making our project out of today. I'm going to go ahead and get going. The water bottles I'm using, and I kept the label on one, it's called Life Water. The reason I chose these bottles is because they actually have a flat base. It's a little bit different than what you see in most soda bottles. But I wanted that flat base for the look that we're going for. It's kind of a more modern, mid-century modern sort of look, and I really love that style. So look for those. I know that Smart Water also offers bottles like this. There's a few other brands that are out there. So to start off, I am actually going to just remove the label from the bottle. And when we do this, anyone who has worked with soda bottles in the past is well aware that this leaves this sticky residue all over the bottle that you can see. So what I'm going to do real quickly in order to get rid of that residue is actually just spray it and wipe it off with Goo Gone. Now most of you are probably familiar with Goo Gone. It is an amazing product. It is wonderful at getting sticky residue off of things. And if you have kids like I do, it works really well for getting gum out of hair. So, little parenting tip there. So all I'm going to do is on this residue, I'm going to go ahead and spray all the way around. I'm already sticking with the Goo Gone. I'm going to let that sit there for just 1 second and grab another paper towel. It doesn't take long for this stuff to actually get going, start working. So you can immediately start wiping this as you turn the bottle around, and you'll notice it's not all coming off right away, but as you continue to wipe just gently back and forth, you can see how it just kind of peels up into little balls. And so as you keep going around, excuse me, it just simply wipes right off. Requires no effort, leaves you with a very, very clean working surface, and takes like 2 seconds. So I'm actually going to grab one more paper towel just to get off as much of the Goo Gone as possible. There we go. And now we are all clean and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and toss these aside. Now for this project, like I said, you need 2 of these. So I went ahead and pre-cleaned an additional bottle as well. Oh, got goo all over my hands. And we're going to start by lining where we're going to cut the bottles. So what I use to do this, to make it really simple, is just a black rubber band. Hair tie, any rubber band will do. I'm using black because I'm working on white, so it gives you a little contrast. And you're going to slip it over the top of the bottle. Now I come in about 3 inches from the top, and you want to make sure it's as straight as possible. And then we're going to take a dry erase marker and we're going to trace around that rubber band. And we're going to repeat the exact same step. Make sure you pull it down away from the dry erase marker, not over it. We don't want to remove that line. That is our cut line, like I was saying. So I'm going to move on to the second bottle. We're going to do the exact same thing, about 3 inches in. And I'm going to go ahead and trace around that as well. There we go. And we will remove that one. Now I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to go ahead and cut these off. We will be using both sides of each bottle. So you want to do your lines as clean as possible, but if there are some rough edges in there, that's totally fine. We can clean them up with scissors after the fact.
Do you want to tell everybody again what we're making?
Oh yes, for those of you who are just turning in, you maybe missed the first few minutes. We are doing some self-watering planters today from Soda Bottles. I'm Jennifer with Our Peaceful Planet. Thank you so much for having us back again. And in addition to this, we're also going to be making seed bombs after we're done with these. Just a reminder to comment, let us know where you're tuning in from. And don't forget about the free giveaway. If you just put in the comments something creative that you've DIY'd for your own garden, I will pick a winner, whoever we think is most unique at the end of the show, and you could win a prize. So I went ahead and outlined my soda bottles where I'm going to cut them. As I said before, we're using both sides. So we want to cut as straight as possible. And my hands are a little... Oh, there we go. That first one always gets me. And then we're just going to move, like I said, slowly around, trying to keep it as straight as possible. Where do we have people tuning in from?
We got Kearney, New Jersey.
Oh my gosh.
Seffner, Florida.
Oh, I went off there.
Africa, the motherland.
Oh, welcome. Welcome everybody. New Jersey, Africa. You guys are
London,
amazing.
Texas, Amarillo, Texas, Kansas. Got all over the world today.
I love Kansas. My family lives in Arkansas, and so the South is kind of very near and dear to my heart. And I drive through Kansas when I go to visit them often. So, all right. So I've got the one cut off. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other one really quickly. And again, we're trying to stay as straight as possible. For the sake of time, I'm going a little quicker than what I probably normally would. So just make sure you're being very safe. We don't want anyone getting injured. All right, there we go. So now we have our two tops and our two bottoms. And the reason I use dry erase marker is because it literally just wipes away when you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and rub that off so we have clean edges here.
You could use scissors if you wanted to, if you made a starter hole.
Oh, absolutely. You could definitely use scissors. And what I tend to do is I prefer the X-Acto knife, so I cut with that. But then, like I said, if I'm a little off, I'm going to go back in with scissors and just clean up those edges. Because we do want nice, clean edges. When the product is finished, we want it to look nice and clean. Gives it a little bit more of a professional look to it. My goal in using soda bottles when I do crafts is once I put this out, this is going to be a decor item on my back porch or in my garden or in my kitchen. And so I don't want it to look like I grabbed a soda bottle. So I think you guys will be really impressed with the way that this one turns out. Like I said, it is also a self-watering planter. And if you're like me and you have a million things going on between work and the kids and the house, it's really nice to not have to worry about watering something every day or every other day. So these are amazing for me. All right, now I'm going to take my two tops. I'm going to set those aside. We're going to come back to these in a little bit. But for the bottom two pieces, this is going to be the base of our self-watering planter. Now we're going to connect these two. In order to do that, I go ahead and cut out at the end of one of these. I just cut out a little triangle. And I do that just to make it a little easier for me to put them together. So when I insert one to the other, that gives me a little flexibility to bend. And I can squeeze them together. All right. So this is going to be our base. Now you'll notice there's a gap here. There's a dimple. That triangle doesn't get rid of that. So in between the two, there will be a gap. We're going to take care of that in just one moment. So don't worry about that. I know that this is going to be what holds the water for the planter, so we do need to make sure that no water is going to leak out anywhere. So I push these together about the length of what I want my planter to be. Usually it's right around a foot, just shy of a foot is what I like. It's really up to you. Once I've decided that that's where I want it, I'm actually going to pull it apart an inch. If I can pull it apart. All right, we're gonna do that again. Back in we go. There we go. All right, so now I'm about an inch from where I was before. And what I'm gonna use to seal this, if you can see this, this is 100% silicone. It's completely weatherproof, waterproof. I chose the GE brand because it actually dries in 30 minutes, which is really nice. So we're gonna start by going into this gap and we're going to fill it. So we're just going to squeeze down in there, and don't worry about making a mess. At this point, this stuff is not going to stay exactly like this. I'm going to show you how to clean it up. We just want to make sure we get enough in there to really fill that, and then we're going to work around the seam. So following that seam, we're just going to put a line of silicone all the way around. Now the reason we had you pull it out an inch from where you want it is because now we're going to push it back together. And that's what's going to get the silicone inside the seam to really seal it up. Now this part gets a little bit messy. I'm going to grab a couple towels because I use my fingers to do this. And we're just going to work our way around and just wipe off that silicone. And it gives you a nice clean edge. It dries clear as well, so it doesn't stand out, and it just gives it a nice clean finish. On this back portion, like I said, this is where the biggest gap is. So I'm going to leave a lot of this buildup back here to make sure that no water is going to get through. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit over to the other sides because I do want it to set flat. That's going to be the base. And that's all we do. Now we're waterproof. So once that's done, you need to let it dry for 30 minutes. I've already gone ahead and dried one for us, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step.
We're not waiting 30 minutes?
No.
Okay.
I know you guys all want to wait 30 minutes to watch it dry, but I'm sorry, in the sake of time, we're going to move on. So I have one here that is already completely dry. And you'll notice the bottom, it doesn't look great, but it's going to be on the bottom. You're not even going to notice it once we get everything put together, so don't worry about that. Now, once we have this done, we're going to pull out one of our tops. We're going to take the lid off, set that aside, and this is actually going to act as a stencil for us. Now, these need to be, I'm going to make 2 holes using this on the top of this bottle. I want to make sure that they are centered on the top so that they don't wiggle and wobble back and forth. So to do that, I'm actually going to add some feet to the bottle. And for the feet, I'm using, you can find these at any craft store, at the dollar store. These are just those little clear glass beads that they put in the bottom of flower pots and things like that for decor. So I've got 4 of those, and I'm going to use a glue gun to actually attach them. So once I've got this, like I said, lined up, I'm going to grab one of these and my glue gun, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little hot glue on the top there. Now I let this wait for just a minute before I put it on. I let it set because obviously hot glue is going to melt plastic. So I let it cool just a little bit before I put it on, and then I'm going to come over here on the front, holding the bottle down, and press that in between the bottle and the table. And that's going to let it set for just a moment. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat this all the way around. The one on the opposite side, I'm going to make sure that this one is touching the table when I glue this one down in, and that is going to give us our support for our self-watering planter. So I'm going to go ahead and put one more of these on just so you can see how they balance each other out. I'm not going to do all four because I have another one that's already ready to go for us. So again, this one touching the table, we're going to come in across from it and push it up in there. And we're going to repeat this exact same thing at this end of the bottle as well. And then we've got 4 nice clear feet that kind of match everything. Now, once we get the 4 feet on, we want to make sure that they're cool enough that they're not going to be popping off on us. So let that set for just a minute, and then we're going to start our stencil. Once again, for people who are turning in a little late, I'm Jennifer with Our Peaceful Planet. Thank you so much for joining us on Hometalk Live. I hope you join us all the time for these shows. They are amazing. We make some phenomenal things. So during the show, please comment. Let me know where you're calling in from, or tuning in from, I should say. And also let me know some creative things that you've DIY'd for your own garden, because that enters you to win our giveaway at the end of the show. You don't want to miss an opportunity to do that. Hometalk gives away these great gifts. So, okay. Actually, I'm going to grab my ruler. Once we have the feet on, we know that our base is secure. And I just kind of eyeball this. I'm going to line this up across the top so it looks like, yep, that's about my middle. Oh, I was a little wobbly there. All right, so that's about the middle. And that's where I'm going to put these in. Now, the overlap of the 2 bottles is right here, and you can kind of see it if you get in the right light. I want to be just outside of that overlap. So I'm going to go just on either side of it. Put that line right down in the middle there. I don't know if you can get a shot of that. We're trying to line that up right in the middle. And then I'm just going to draw a circle inside. Trace the interior of that. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Now these holes obviously are a little too small for what I need. So I kind of go about 1/4 inch out. And I eyeball it. It doesn't have to be exact, but 1/4 inch is about perfect for the size that we need. And I'm just going to do a little scribble line around those so I have an idea of where I'm cutting. And now we're going to go back to our X-Acto knife, and we're going to cut these out. Now these do not need to be perfect circles. Don't worry about that. You're not even going to see them. The main thing with the circles is you want to make sure they're not too big, because once these are cut, this is what's going down in there. And you'll notice at the top of these, we have a larger ring at the very bottom here. This larger ring should actually pop through there. It should be very snug when you push it through. And that's what really keeps these in place. So I've done this numerous times, and this seems to be like the perfect size for that. Oh, so we're going to go around here. We have anyone else tuning in from anywhere interesting?
We got a lot of interesting planters people are making out of soda bottles. Everybody's telling us what their creative DIYs are.
Oh, awesome. What are a few of those?
Let's get some more here.
Oh,
Lou Crook recycled old bowling balls and broken dishes or mirrors to create a colorful, inexpensive glazing balls.
Are you serious? That's interesting. I need a link for that. I have not seen a lot of upcycled bowling balls, so...
We got people from North Carolina, Oklahoma.
Oh my gosh. I hope some of you out there are actually enjoying spring that was supposed to start a few days ago. We're in Utah, and it's still pretty chilly here.
Las Vegas,
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
They're enjoying spring. Well, welcome, Vegas, Louisiana, all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope we give you some great ideas that you can take home and make your own unique projects with. Put your own spin on them. All right, so now that I have those cut, I'm going to take my top and just make sure. Like I said, the bottom portion goes right in, but I have to pop that top ring in. And that's exactly the size that you want. Like I said, it doesn't need to be pretty, it just needs to be functional. So once we have that done, we're actually going to spray paint this. And I don't know about you guys, everyone has their own color taste. I am really into the mid-century modern, kind of that metro modern look. So I'm going to go ahead and tape these off. I'm using a gold because I love, like I said, that clean look. And I'm going to lay this tape just outside the circle that I cut and just wrap it around. And this is where I'm going to paint. So I'm going to do this on both sides, just outside the circle. And then I usually cover the inside. You can use paper. I use these little paper towels because they work great. I tape that on over the center to make sure I don't get any overspray there. Now, once you've painted the edges, I went ahead and did that here. So I've got the feet on this one, and I've got it painted the color that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. A little close there. And now, oh, I didn't quite get all that one. We have our painted planter. Now this is where it gets fun. This is where we get to kind of throw everything together. So once this is done, I like to fill the bottom with rocks or pebbles, or you can use the glass beads, kind of whatever works for you. I think it just gives it a little bit of a neater look. I went ahead and picked up at the dollar store some white pebbles. And so make sure whatever pebbles or rocks you get that you rinse them first, or your water once you add it is going to be very, very, very foggy. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to fill our planter. I just went ahead and makeshift a paper funnel. And I'm just going to dump some of these down in there. And then I'm going to shake them back and forth.
Renee Finney thinks it looks like a giant fuse.
At this point, it probably does. That did not occur to me, but she's absolutely right. I promise you it gets better. So once we get that done, we're going to prepare for our plants. Now, we would add water in here. I actually didn't bring water over just for the sake of time, but you're going to want to fill this about halfway with water. And then you're going to use your tops. And what I like to do with these, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this technique or not. Some of you who work with soda bottles a lot will be. I don't like this sharp edge because I'm going to handle that whenever I'm dealing with my plants. So I take an iron, I turn it to the highest setting, and I evenly press, just for a few seconds, the soda bottle onto the iron. And what that does, I don't know if you can see, it gives it this nice rounded edge, which looks a lot more clean and finished, and it also prevents you from any scratches when you're dealing with your plants or replanting or watering and things like that. So now that those are done, we take our lids to these bottles and we drill a hole in the center of them. And it needs to fit approximately 2 pieces of yarn or highly absorbent string through it. So I just go right down through the center. If I can get that going.
Looks like you need a sharper drill bit.
I know, right? My drill bit is tired of drilling these apparently. There we go. So we have one hole in the center. I'm going to do that real quick to the second one. And now we're ready to add our self-watering system. Now, like I said, we just need some highly absorbent yarn or string. I use 100% cotton yarn because it seems to work really well. I've had a lot of success with it. For these smaller planters, I'm going about 8 inches. That's about all you need. So I just kind of eyeball it. And I'm going to cut out 4 of these. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Close enough is close enough. And then we have 2 for each one. So we're going to just kind of twist the ends together. We're going to go up through the base. And pull that through. And we want to pull it through about 2/3 of the way so the majority of the string is on the bottom. Then we're going to tie a knot to prevent it from slipping through the base. And that is our self-watering system. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other side. Oh, my hole is not letting me go through. Let me try to clean that up a little bit. There we go. Well, I swear this worked a lot easier earlier. There we go. So we're just going to tie a knot in the other one. And we are all set there. Now we're going to reattach these to the bottle tops. Reattach this one as well. Oops, wrong way. And then, like I said, once this is full of water, we're going to insert this down in, and these strings are what's going to absorb that water and bring it up into our plant. So we're going to make sure we pop it down in, pop it down in, and then we're ready to add our soil. So I've got a little bit of potting soil here. You want to make sure the strings are actually sticking up through the soil. That's how it's going to get everything nice and damp so that you don't have to water this every day. There we go. We're going to do, oh, I just made a mess. Do one more over here. And then you can insert any plants you like. I am a huge fan of succulents right now, so I have a couple of those that I'm just going to go ahead and pop down in there. And for the first time that you start this up, you are going to want to water the soil to make sure that it's wet, the strings up top get wet, so that it draws up the water from your base. Once the base gets low, you need to refill. Simply pop out one of your planters. Add more water in through there and pop it back in. So that is our first self-watering planter. We actually have a second one as well. I'm not going to make it for you today for the sake of time, but I will show it to you. And this one is made from just one 2-liter bottle. You can actually go to ourpeacefulplanet.com and look up planters, and you will see these come up as well. But there's something a little classier than what you normally see, something that's going to look good in any room or out on your back porch as well. They're a couple of my favorites for spring, brings a little of the outdoors in. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the self-watering planters. Real quick before we go, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the seed bomb project that we have. Again, remember, if you're just tuning in, send us comments about your DIYs for your garden, creative things that you've done. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have a friend who's a gardener, share the link to their page. Show them what we do over at Hometalk. There's a lot more good videos coming. So, I'm going to clean some stuff out of the way here. For our seed bombs, I'm a huge fan of these because they really are an easy way to beautify your neighborhood, the side of the road, as you're driving by or going out for a walk. They just bring a little bit more color in. We use air dry clay, potting soil, and seeds. That's all that you need for these. It's very, very simple. So when we open the air dry clay, I am going to go ahead and just cut off a portion of this so we can do a quick kind of rundown on how we do this. Now this amount of clay, that's enough to make 2 or 3 of the seed bombs. What we're going to do is flatten it out, and we're going to add some potting soil to it. Now, if you're making them individually, usually it's about a tablespoon of clay to a teaspoon of potting soil. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of make a little batch here. So I'm going to put that in, and then we're just going to squeeze it all together, mix it really good. It is a little messy, so make sure that you have a nice surface to do this on, and you're not working on any clean tablecloths or anything like that, because it does get a little messy. So we're going to go ahead and work that through.
Asking, what is a seed bomb?
A seed bomb, that's the term that we use. It's a really, really easy way to plant flowers when you're, like I said, side of the road, when you're out walking about, or even in your own garden. I've gone in my backyard and just tossed them down. It requires no effort because the air dry clay, along with the potting soil that's in here, gives them everything they need to actually germinate, which is phenomenal. So I make a little ball, and you can do these in any size. Some people keep them in balls, which is fine. I like to shape mine, so that's what I'm going to do. But we press it down, and we add in a couple of seeds. I try to find, when I'm going to scatter them outside, seeds, wildflowers, seeds that are native to the area, because they don't require, you know, constant care and a watering system, sprinkler system, things like that. So you just put a little bit of your seeds in there. We're going to mix it again. Roll it back into a ball. And like I said, I like to shape mine. So I press it down flat. I'm going to grab my spoon that I had here, and just using the back of the spoon, I'm just going to cut in right there, and then we're going to shape it. And what this does is give us little heart-shaped seed bombs. And these I think are adorable because I give them a lot of time as gifts during spring or for Earth Day, things like that. They just turn out really adorable.
Where are some places they can get the clay?
Oh, the clay. I'm a huge fan of Amazon, in my opinion. Comes in 2 days. It's super cheap. I think I picked this specific one up when I was out with the kids at Walmart, and it was about $6, $7. But it is enough to make an enormous amount of these guys. And this is the Polyform Model Air Drying Clay. On our website at ourpeacefulplanet.com, we use a Crayola clay. Any air dry clay is fine. So now you're going to make these. You can make them in different sizes if you want. Go ahead and let them dry. I actually have some that I made the other day, so I can show you once they dry. They've got seeds and soil in each one, and that is everything that you need to get them growing wherever it is that you decide to just go toss them on the ground. They'll take care of themselves. I've had a lot of success with these. I've tried them out. They work beautifully. Usually it takes about 2 to 3 weeks, and you see flowers growing in places there were never flowers before, which I love. Now, if you plan on using these for a gift, for instance, Earth Day or spring gifts for friends, one of the things that we have on our site is a cute little thing to display them in or hand them out in. I use these little 2.5-inch terracotta pots. I got a 3-pack at the dollar store, which is amazing, great deal. And on our website, we have this free download that gives you some little sleeves for each one. There's a great little poem about taking care of the planet. There's also just some cute decorative ones. So I like to put these, I've got these here, but I like to put the little sleeves on, and then I go ahead and fill in my little pot. That one's not quite in there. There we go. And like I said, it just makes an adorable little gift. I didn't tape that one on. It's my sample one. But it's a great way to add a little color and a little beauty anywhere you go during the spring. And that's about it. We were quick and simple today. I hope you guys were engaged. I hope you found something that you can do on your own to make your garden, your life better. I do want to touch base real quick about our giveaway because we've had a lot of people commenting on that. Thank you so much for sharing those ideas. And I'm going to let my amazing, beautiful husband select one of those for me.
One second while I read over the...
Make sure you listen for your name, guys.
Aren't you supposed to give me one?
And also be sure that you tune in, like I said,
wasn't...
to future Home Talk videos. They do so many things all the time. They're all just ahead of the curve for the season. So if you need ideas for holidays or home decor, you can find absolutely everything there. Also, again, don't forget to check out ourpeacefulplanet.com. In addition to our self-watering planters, we also have some of these great herb planters that I put up around my house, and some free downloadable plant markers as well. So you'll want to take a peek at those if you have those.
It looks like our winner is Neha Khan.
Neha Khan. And what was her idea? Oh!
I don't remember.
Sorry,
I apologize.
Neha. I am so
She's been
sorry.
commenting on the clay work.
On the clay work. Apparently, we misplaced your comment, so I am so sorry that I can't share it with everybody. But apparently it was amazing, and it caught a lot of attention. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate having all of you guys and your support, and I can't wait to come back and see you guys again.
Thank you.
I think that's it, guys. Have a good one.